For those of you that don't know me, I'm not an outdoor person. So why in the world am I out in the woods? Well, I'm actually going to start a new series for you called 5 in 5, and I want to experiment a little bit with these videos because they are just meant to be more informational and quick talking heads as opposed to my usual on-computer tutorials. So with that, I want to experiment with different things. In fact, this is why this video is actually vertical instead of horizontal. I'm also going to move around in different locations and try different profiles and sides and lightings. And that's just for me to get comfortable with some different positions, but also to make it more visually interesting for the one person that actually happens to watch all of these videos. So that way it's not the same old thing, and because it can get a little boring and repetitive. So if you happen to see any of these videos coming up, please let me know. You can find them on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, The Izzy West. But before that, I want to go ahead and share a few tips with you. This video should help you get some ideas about what microphone you want to use or look into buying, and even just some quick, no money lighting ideas. So I wanted to show you some sound quality distance. So I came outside, and on site you think it's really quiet. This is probably pretty good. But it only takes one loud conversation, one car, one loud boat or jet ski to really make a difference. So in just a second, I'm actually going to plug in. This is a wireless lavalier, which means this will connect to my phone. Because I have an iPhone, I have to have a smartphone attachment. And this actually just clips onto me. So I will put this on my belt. Other into my phone, and so this should be a much better sound quality because I have the microphone a lot closer to me. It's not bringing outside a lot of the outside noise, and even right now I know I can hear boats hitting waves, which would be much more distracting without the use of an additional microphone. So the lavalier is my favorite just because of the sound quality, but it did cost about $50, which I think is a good deal. But the only downside is that it's for one person. So I can wear it, but I can't pass it around. So for events, what I've done is we've gotten a wireless microphone, so very similar. This part plugs into my phone, and this part can be passed around from person to person. However, a good one is going to be a little bit more expensive. Like I said, this one was $20, but not a great sound quality. It does pick up a little bit more surround sound than I would like, especially if people don't hold it directly like this and talk directly into it. A lot of people just hold it straight up as like a prop, and so it picks up more sound because it's picking up everything outside of the black head. As opposed to if you hold it like this and you're speaking directly into it, the quality would be much better. But again, as you're hosting events and different things, you have a lot of unexperienced people, which is fine, and this is why you're here, because you're doing it for them. So that does give you two options. I recommend both if you have the budget for it. We're actually going to be upgrading ours soon, so we will probably be buying about $100 different one. There's also a reason I only showed you wireless microphones like my lavalier. And I had to move location so I could show you. And that's for the simple reason is that because it's attached to me, it doesn't matter how far away I actually get from the camera, you can still hear me for about the same quality. Now the only thing with that is that you'll actually have to check the Bluetooth capabilities for the specific piece of hardware or the microphone that you're purchasing. It will actually tell you what the maximum distance is. So for some people that might be as short as 15 feet, but I think a lot of these are pretty good. And it's also just nice because if you're taping somebody and like showing how their work and they're moving around and playing with stuff and looking for things, it doesn't matter where they're facing or what they're doing, and they can actually continue to work hands-free. So that's actually another reason I prefer the wireless lavalier. Additionally, if you're still using the handheld microphone, there's no cord in between us, so that if people do happen to walk through, there's nothing for them to trip on. Another thing that you can do in a pinch is to simply find the quietest room you can. And so for this instance, I'm actually in my car. There's no microphone, it's just my regular cell phone. And so this is probably not great if you actually need other people on the screen or to talk. But if you just need to do a quick video by yourself in the car or in a quiet room, I've actually even heard of people in apartments going into their closet and sitting on their closet floor to record stuff. So just feel free to be creative, and I like to say done is better than perfect. Quick positioning tip is actually to think about angles. And so In case you haven't realized, because it's not your face you're looking at, this is a really unflattering angle because I'm looking down at my phone. So you're focusing on my neck, which for most people is not very nice. So if you can, find a place where you can move around. This is eye level, or even bring a chair, which I've done. And so this allows me to move my tripod to where right now it's actually just a little bit taller than me. So I'm kind of looking up at it this way. And so, but to me, I think this is a much more natural but pleasant looking angle to try out. As another lighting example, I'm actually back to my original location. And so what you're seeing is I'm actually standing underneath a gazebo. So it is shade on top of me, but it's sunny outside, so that's why it's brown outside. But I'm going to move it so you can see the difference. As unflattering as this angle is, I kind of want to show you the camera is mostly in the sun, a little bit shady because we're in the woods, but I am still underneath the shade. Whereas now we're both in the bright light, so here's what you can do about that. My next tip is going to be for lighting. This is going to be no budget, just very simple thing. Whenever you show up on site is just to look around. So for me, the sun is almost directly ahead, but I still have just enough of a shadow that I can show you the difference. So if I physically move my camera to where the sun is behind me, this is not great. You can't see my face. And even though you may not want to look at my face all of the time, however, that can be very distracting for viewers and they become less interested. However, if you can look where the sun is pointing, it's very awkward for you and for people because they're going to be facing the sun and it is very bright and we're going to close our eyes and blink a lot because the sun is right in our face. But if you can kind of get them used to it, this lighting is so much better and just a simple, easy fix to look for. Another easy lighting tip is actually just using your phone, which is what I'm recording on right now, as I'm using an iPhone that's a few years old. And when you touch the screen in different parts, you will actually see it start to autofocus, but it also changes the lighting on it. So just tap around on your phone as you get started and see which lighting is a little bit more flattering for you.